episode of Chatty Broads with Becca and Jess.
Well, Becca, before we dive into this 2-part recap episode, I do have a question for you, and this is a very important question. What exactly is Jesse Palmer's role on the beach?
Oh, he doesn't have a role.
I don't understand.
Granted, Chris Harrison didn't either. He always just introduced people as they walked up.
I guess so.
Paradise isn't coast heavy.
But I feel like we don't see Jesse at all.
We see him introduce people. We saw him talk to Salley.
He talks to Salley, but like Wells is the one who is running everything. But Wells is delivering all the quote unquote news, all of the information about who's leaving. He does the rose
ceremony, right?
I think he does it sometimes, but I remember, I think that's always Jesse Palmer. But again,
I think it was the same with Chris Harrison. What part did Chris Harrison ever play?
I don't know what it was.
Paradise?
I just feel like maybe it's so Wells heavy this season because of all the tales that they've been regaling us with.
Yeah.
That I'm like, and then Ashley and Jared are, doing their background stories and everything, that I'm like, where is Jesse Palmer? And I'd like to know what he's doing when he's not filming, because he's not filming 99.999% of the time.
Oh, yeah. I don't hanging out, sipping pina coladas.
He's just kicking it by the beach, smoking a cigar. It's just these stupid kids. They have no idea what they're in store for.
It must really kind of suck because you are sort of stuck hardly working for like 5 weeks.
I would give a lot to find out what JP's paycheck looks like for Paradise.
Probably not enough.
But he's also, again, he's probably just kicking it most of the time.
Yeah, true.
He's just probably golfing, just rounds of golf, smoking the cigars.
Maybe. I would just imagine, like, I don't know if he has a family, but I'd kind of just be like,
he's married.
Maybe maybe if she's there, that would
they're just
be
like
great.
A free vacation for a month.
Otherwise, I just imagine
once every 4 days for 30 minutes.
Otherwise, it kind of sounds like kind of a shitty work trip at the same time, though.
Yeah.
Which I know sounds, people are like, what? You're like it, but also
you're
like when you have to be, for like 5 weeks.
Do you think he is though? Confiscated?
Probably not
because
as much.
He's obviously not going to be spilling any tea. I mean, I bet he is actually. You get JP a little drunk by the hotel bar and he's like, what I saw?
Oh my God. Well, I just
tell you
wonder
about Salley. And he's just like, he's the one with all the rumors.
That's the thing though. I wonder if he has to stay on that property. What is this? Okay, now I went on his thing to look at his wife and they had this weird hooju picture.
And you know that they did a hashtag hooju? Shout out Game of Roses.
Oh, wow.
The lexicon is infiltrating.
I love it. Yeah,
so good.
Interesting. I wonder what we could DM him. Jesse,
ask.
did you like filming Paradise? Did you enjoy it?
JP, we know you're going to say yes, but I really want to know.
His wife was there. His wife was there. They're eating tacos in June while filming. So maybe they had a great time. Oh, and look, his brother even came and visited in Paradise.
Oh my God.
Maybe he's having a great time.
Is it little JP or big JP?
Lil
I wonder
JP.
if little JP. Okay.
Yeah. Lil big bro. He put hashtag little big bro. So he's the bigger Palmer, but he's the younger
John Palmer, perhaps?
Enough about an irrelevant figure. But let's talk about how we have to keep watching this show for much longer than I'd like to.
Well, the negative side is that this season has decided to go on 16 episodes.
This is unprecedented.
This has never happened before. The 2 final episodes are the week of like the 22nd or something.
Yes.
And it's 2-hour live finales.
They better not be. I'm sure one of them will be 3 hours. They better not be, but I'm sure they will be.
What could possibly need to be discussed for 4 hours?
When they have to interview 45 people.
That's true. They're probably going to literally go through
15 hot seats.
Every person. Do you think the Ashley and Jared hot seat will be like 30 minutes of the entire episode? But the positive side of it for the broads is that we are going to be doing more episodes than we thought we were going to. This podcast will be continuing a little longer. So now that we know that it's the third week,
we're only 5 episodes in. We're not even a third of the way through.
It's true madness. It's true madness.
You know, though, I really like, I'm just going to say this, though. I have been liking this season of Paradise because I don't really hate anyone. And sometimes when I hate someone, I am actually kind of miserable watching it because I'm just seething with rage. I don't really like hate anyone this season.
You know, I feel that really deeply in my soul. Obviously, human mistakes are happening.
Sure.
But in general, the only feeling that I get of seething rage when I watch the show is some obvious producer play that goes on. Other than that, I'm kind of like, you know what? There's a lot of drama, but it's all just very like, you know.
I also usually get rage when there's someone that everyone loves, but that I hate.
I understand that.
There's also none of that happening.
No, I get that.
Truly, I feel like
when there's a hero that you're not a fan of.
Oh, don't get me started. I'm like, she's a fake as fuck. Or like, he's secretly evil. There's no one really like that. Like, I don't even feel like there's really that even many fan favorites. Like,
no.
I mean, like Michael, but you know, even just with the Sierra. I mean, I don't know. There's no one that's like everyone's obsessed with.
No,
because even Brandon and Serene aren't getting that much screen time. So
a tragedy.
But you know, how often can you just watch someone make out and say how much they're into each other?
I cannot wait to talk about the moment he saw her walk up in that dress. Which I will be reminding Evan before we go to bed every night to be like, if you don't look at me like that,
be like, you didn't look at me like that at our wedding
of every goddamn day. It's over in this house. Over. But no, I agree with you. I feel like, you know, I'm entertained by everyone on the beach.
Yeah.
For the most part, everyone seems, you know, pretty lovely. And yes, there is quite a lot of drama. And again, there's the human mistakes that come with the stress and the producers in your ear and all of that, which we can get into. But no, in general, I've been enjoying it. But yeah, there's 16 episodes of this. So again, we'll continue to keep you updated. But then it looks like maybe some of our last episodes will be the last week in November, kind of first week in December. Just as a heads up for everybody.
Yeah. That's a good heads up. I mean, 16 episodes. It's a lot.
You guys are going to want us to be over by the time Bachelor in Paradise.
I'm going to be waiting for it to be over. Why are they doing this to me? Like this, I feel like they're doing it to me personally.
It's a personal
like
attack
kind
to
of how
Becca.
I feel like just
Becca's
to me.
Like, I'm ready to wrap up slowly, and then they're like, and 16 episodes and 2 2-hour live finales. I don't know what it is. I know that JP has nothing to do with it, but I just love the idea of picturing him being like, let's make it 2 2-hour live finales, and then last minute being like, let's add a third hour so we can pack one of the hours full of advertisements for other television shows.
Movies. Oh, dear God. Oh, my God.
Tickets to Paradise, 45-minute trailer.
Cruise ship and like lotion advertisements for a solid 15 every hour.
Shane Palmer, this is my new, my balm, my new lotion. I'm putting
Next, they're going to be plugging contestant
it's called Balmy
lines.
Palmy.
Like, oh, my God. It's a sunscreen thing. Oh my goodness. Yeah. But you know what? No, I bet the finales.
SPF and BIP.
The finales will be good.
I think so too.
I think they will be good. There is always like so much drama from Paradise.
It's true.
Like,
I will say as well, because there is a live finale, we are not seeing the contestants really give any like relationship updates because they have to wait until, you know, the last few seasons, as soon as someone would leave, they'd post their long thing about like, we're still together or we broke up or blah, 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 blah.
True.
Because, you know, I right away went to go check to see what Romeo and Dr. Kyra said after they left. I was waiting for a post from them. It's like, oh no, they're probably going to have to wait until the live finale. And we love that because, you know, there's going to be, it's a long amount of time. So there's going to be so much drama.
Yeah.
And you know, a couple that probably got engaged will have broken up like the week before.
Wait, I was paying attention last night and I'm sorry, wait. I somehow missed that Kyra and Romeo left. They left the beach?
I need to ask you this right now. Did you not see the exit scene?
I turned off my phone. I'm really confused right now. I must have just been in another dimension in my mind.
What I'm going to need from you later, just for my own bliss, is for you to watch them leaving together and the exit interviews and Romeo's face.
Oh, well, I saw the face meme online this morning.
And Dr. Kyra is kind of like, yeah, we found each other. We did paradise the right way. And Romeo is just like this. And at one point he shivered. And I'm like, what's going on? Even though, in my opinion, the correct call for Romeo, because we know he wasn't getting a rose.
Well, he would have just kept digging himself in a hole, further and further.
I kind of wish, I'm actually slightly depressed that they made them leave.
I know.
And that they didn't just let Dr. Kyra and Romeo just stay there. Three women had left. You might as well let Kyra back.
Yeah, why not? Some shit's gonna go down.
100% a new woman comes in and Romeo's gonna be talking to someone, or Kyra and Jacob have a moment alone and Jill sees them flirting and it's an explosion.
It would be amazing.
I know. Why would you get rid of that amazing drama potential?
I'm genuinely perplexed how I missed that. Wow.
Yeah, that was quite an exit. That was quite an exit. It was a 10. It was a 10. It was not how I was expecting the episode to wrap, that's for sure.
Well, I hope I didn't miss anything else. You have a pretty great list, though, a comprehensive list of bullet points, which I'm excited to go through, because I think we're going to have to.
It's just a list of bullet points of the main storylines, I think, going on that we can just kind of make our way through, combine both episodes.
Let me ask you this. I know the Jared and Ashley thing was gratuitous and pointless, but I actually didn't totally hate it.
This was my thought on the Ashley and Jared storyline. Now, when I tell you,
without it, could we have 15 episodes instead of 16?
And that's the thing about it, though. And that's the thing about it, though, is that Bachelor data, God bless, shows everyone's screen time. They had, by a mile, double the amount of screen time or something like that than anyone else did on the beach episode 4. It's you take that out, one less episode.
Did she say how many minutes?
16 minutes.
Wow. In both episodes or just one?
In one, and then in the next episode. Wow. The other thing about Bachelor data, God bless my Bachelor God, when you look at the screen time that Genevieve has had over all 5 episodes compared to anyone else. Oh yeah. It's you see the little lines of people peeking out, and then the bar of Genevieve is yeah. She has owned this beach.
Yeah.
Genevieve has made this beach her bitch, and she is the queen of paradise this year.
Yeah.
1000%.
She is.
And I truly believe with Casa Amor coming up, the ripoff of Casa Amor, that she will continue to be.
Oh, we'll see much more of her sobbing into pillows. And freaking out.
The idea of Casa Amor gives me so much anxiety as it is. So, with what we've seen of Genevieve,
it looks like it's going to be a mess, by the way, too. It looks like the men are immediately forgotten any woman they had eyes for.
Well, if you are a Love Island watcher, every time Casa Amor happens.
Except Aaron, actually. Aaron actually didn't look like he was really going for it.
I'm pretty sure Aaron's in love with Genevieve.
Yeah, no, I think so, too.
I am 99% sure that he is in love with her.
Yeah.
Aaron and Brandon are the only two that then don't.
Yeah,
who would have thought? With Aaron, at least. But Casa Amor always creates mass havoc. Now, what it doesn't look like is that the women are going to get 5 new men.
Totally.
Which is...
Well, not in the next 2 weeks.
Right, but we even, over the large previews, only ever saw the women being fuck you, Jesse Palmer, and them being sent away. Bullshit.
They're going to get men. Otherwise, it would be otherwise it's going to, there's already so many more women. Otherwise, it's going to be so disproportionate.
I would imagine, though, what they're going to do is they're going to
pull the women and then put the women back, and then there's going to bring
well,
women.
typically with like the Love Island, what they do is they bring on 5 new women, and then 5 women will leave. Some of them will be the older contestants, and some the brand new ones.
Yeah.
So they will then remove the same amount that came in, but it just depends. Like, are the men going to keep the new women or the past contestants?
I don't think they're going to do it exactly like Love Island, and they also might just remove the women literally for like 2 days. I think that's probably what they're going to do. I think they'll probably remove the women for like 2 days and then put the women back in like the morning of the rose ceremony.
Longest 2 days ever. Can you imagine how much anxiety you feel? I don't know.
Maybe I would, but I also might. I can't say how I would be in that situation because I've never been on Paradise. But I also might just be like, well, like I would probably try to get a clear answer before, you know, and then I'd be like, well, like if he goes back on his word, he's gonna look like a fucking asshole. Like,
let's watch this shit play out.
Yeah, he's gonna pay.
Sure. Well, I feel. You know, and it's always talk until you're on the sand, right?
Of course.
But I have no reality TV experience, but I would like to think I'm pretty stubborn in relationship type situations.
Right.
And I would like to think that I could hold up pretty well on the beach. In fact, I think my issue would be that
being too cold.
I'd be too cold.
Right.
Like I'd be flirty with everyone, but like I couldn't commit because I would just be like, well, I don't care.
Right.
And putting up that guard,
right.
You know, but the Casa Amor thing would happen. I know I would spiral. That's when the true colors would come out. I'd explode because I'd be like, I'm going crazy. Like I am like alone, stuck in the house. And also I feed off of energy and you know, everyone's panicking. Now, the other big question is this. Sometimes with Love Island, the contestants stuck away from their partners are gifted an iPad or two to see some behind the scenes of what's happening, like Temptation Island style, a clip. Now the question is, will producers give us that gift so that they see clips all of a sudden of, you know, Jacob rubbing lotion on someone's ass?
Yeah.
And then Jill being like, you know, or Aaron being like, there's something about you. And Genevieve just losing it.
Yeah, I think either way it would be miserable because I remember, speaking of energy, like I remember the second week on The Bachelor, I remember everyone was panicking before the rose ceremony. And I think the cocktail party maybe it hadn't got canceled. I don't know. I just remember it was miserable because being around like 15 other women that are just like losing their minds was awful. I literally went out into the back of the mansion and I am not joking. It was at night. I climbed up in a tree and I just sat in the tree. I climbed in the tree and I just sat there for a little while in the dark.
And were you in a dress? Like in a fancy gown?
Probably. Yes, I think I probably was. And
you do a rose ceremony and they zoom up on your hands and your nails are just embedded with dirt and your scratches all over it. And you're like, I accept, thank you.
It was like one of those like olive tree things. So it wasn't too crazy, and I wasn't too high off the ground. But I just went and perched out there because I was just like, I had to get away. And it was so loud and it was overstimulating. Everyone was just horrible and anxious. And and I was just like, I got to get out of here.
When
it was
you
awful.
Say those, first, I would have loved some video footage of you up in the street.
Yeah, I'm sure they would have too.
Like, is that a cat up there?
Your
eyes are reflecting.
Can you just imagine if they actually got that on camera?
You're perched up behind this tree and you're just like...
But I was like, dude, low key, like I don't think they'd be able to find me. So like it's genius. How are they going to find me? Like
when you say that, that really resonates with me, where I'm like, I think the romance piece I wouldn't struggle with so much. That's the shit that would send me and then make me explosive in ITMs and on camera, because I'd be so stressed out with those portions of it when like the group energy is so stressed.
It's so intense. Those were definitely the most intense experiences filming the show for sure.
I'm already like, I don't have my own bedroom. Like, excuse me. I'm an introvert. I'm going to need my own space.
Well, the thing that I used to just go swim. The pool is really gross, but I used to just go swimming. Pool? No, it was like.
Was it just like moldy?
No, there was just like white stuff floating in the water. Like maybe like the plaster was chipping off or something.
Lead.
It wasn't like, it was
They're
lead.
poisoning you so.
I don't know.
Sure, go in the pool.
They probably didn't have the filter thing because it would go. It was probably like too loud. Yeah. I don't know, but
you take time in the pool
because you get to take your mic off.
Oh, okay.
So you can just like, it is like the only you could just swim and be underwater and like be alone and it'd be quiet.
Yeah. Peter thought he could say what he wanted to say without his mic on in the ocean.
Which, by the way, how did they decipher what was said? I was like, do they have a professional lip reader in here?
I could hear pieces of it.
Yeah, I could hear little pieces too, but sometimes it didn't even look like the words were coming out of their mouths.
Yeah, it was just.
Did you notice that?
Underneath the water.
I was like, are they making some of this up right now? Granted, it seemed on brand for him.
No, it feels like it was pretty accurate. Before we dive into the individuals, you want to take a quick little pause up in here. Broads. Oh my Lord. I had the most amazing dinner over this weekend and I'm still thinking about it. And no, it wasn't from a restaurant, although I'll be honest, it tasted like it was. It was made by me in my own kitchen with a little help from Green Chef, okay? Broads, never in my life did I think I would be able to casually whip up beef tenderloin with cherry balsamic sauce.
You're making my mouth water.
Maple Brussels sprouts and brown butter roasted potatoes. Who am I? You know what I'm saying? Thank you, Green Chef. It sounds just so fancy, but guess what? A kit from Green Chef in 35 minutes and it was on the table and it was so good.
My mouth is literally watering. Okay, that's the beauty of Green Chef. They're a home meal kit company. They make eating well easier than ever. They offer 30 different recipes each week. They've got keto, paleo, vegan, gluten-free options. There's always something to choose from that's going to fit your lifestyle. Once you pick out the meals you want to make, they send you pre-portioned, partially prepared ingredients, easy to follow recipe cards, and everything can be made in 30 to 40 minutes. Some of the recipes take under 25 minutes. And because things come pre-prepared, you hardly have any dishes to do after.
I love that with Green Chef, I've been able to make so many dishes and cuisines that I never would have thought to try either because they were too difficult sounding or I didn't want to buy a bunch of ingredients just for that one dish. Green Chef sends you just what you need and the instructions are so clear and they're easy to follow. And trust me, if I can follow them, you can follow them, okay? Even if cooking isn't really your thing, it can be with a little help from Green Chef.
Go to greenchef.com/chatty135 and use code chatty135 to get $135 off across 5 boxes and your first box ships free.
Dang.
That's greenchef.com/chatty135. Use code chatty135 to get $135 off across 5 boxes and your first box will ship for free.
That's a great deal.
That is.
Okay, Broads, as most of you already know, Ember has started school this year, and that means school pictures. Okay, it's one of my most favorite things. Yet? We haven't gotten them back. I am waiting, just so excited. They're just always my most favorite. And I still love looking back at my own school pictures from when I was her age. So I know that when we get hers back, I've got to get them framed ASAP and, of course, send them out to the grandparents because they've already been asking about them quite a bit. I plan on getting them framed, obviously, with FrameBridge because they do a flawless job every time and they make it so easy.
Oh, FrameBridge. They measure and handcraft each frame specifically for your piece. You can FrameBridge seriously anything. Selfies. Game day jerseys, your anniversary dinner menu, your latest artistic masterpiece. The options are endless. And of course, stuff like school photos. Just go to framebridge.com, upload your photo, Or if you have a physical piece to frame, they will send you a complimentary packaging to safely mail it in. And you can preview your item in dozens of frame styles and choose your favorite, or you can get free designer help.
I like this idea of framing selfies. Maybe that'll make my whole bedroom just selfies of me.
Amazing.
Then the experts at FrameBridge custom frame your item and deliver your finished piece right to your door. Instead of paying hundreds at a framing store, FrameBridge starts at just $39 plus free shipping. Order online or stop by a FrameBridge store near you to work with a designer in person. I have had numerous things framed with FrameBridge for myself and a lot for other people as gifts over the years, and every piece comes back perfect every time. And again, also with the holidays coming up, you can't possibly go wrong with a sentimental framed photo. Trust me, it's always a hit.
Frame your photos or send someone the perfect gift today at framebridge.com. Framebridge.com.
Alrighty. Okay, so first relationship that we have is Rodney and Lace, which is truly shocking to everyone on the beach.
Yeah, I know. It also doesn't look like that's going to last according to the previews.
Yeah, Casa Amor does not make it look like it will be a long-lasting relationship, though.
Funny.
At least for right now. I mean, she's given him those massages.
Yes.
And also her energy with him, I was like, oh, she really likes him.
Yeah.
It was a very different sparkly energy.
Someone came in that at the end, or maybe we saw him coming in, where I thought that it seemed like Lace would be a good match. Who was that? Don't know. Anyway, but yeah, Rodney was an interesting one for Lace.
That was
an interesting one
not
for Rodney.
On my 2022 bingo card, that's for sure. That was not going to happen. And everyone was really thrown off by it.
Oh, I thought that maybe Pizza Pete would have been like he and Lace would have been a thing. That's who it was.
Imagine.
But
I would not have been surprised if Pizza Pete would have been obsessed with Lace and Lace would have hated his guts.
Would have been kind of amazing.
Yes.
But yeah, no. So she and Rodney were a thing cruising along, but doesn't look like that'll last. That's all there is to say about that.
Into that, I'm figuring we can knock off some of these smaller ones at the top.
Yes, I love that idea.
You were talking about Ashley and Jared.
Yeah.
I will be completely straight with you. I did not take any notes on Ashley and Jared.
I don't think I really took any notes on them either, but I did actually think that their talk on the beach was like so surprisingly really poignant and sweet, and it was cute how like I think the producers just set them up to just like have a picnic, but I loved how it actually turned into a special moment between the two of them where they're both crying, talking about their lives together.
That was so sweet.
Yeah.
And also for some of us old married folk, you were like, oh, this feels so relatable. Like, you're talking, there's the kid and the busyness of life and obviously they had the whole boom boom room shtick.
Yeah, dumb, but
it was also kind of like, no, these are relatable, real life type feelings. I did love them making commentary about all the kids on the beach. They're just like, you stupid kids. Yeah. Enjoy yourselves. Why do y'all take this so seriously? Just relax. You're on vacation.
To Ashley sobbing for every 30 seconds back on her season, which Gray had never seen her season. And so like when the clips of her playing, I was like, no, Gray, she was like one of the most iconic people to ever be on Paradise. Iconic. She was so fun to watch. Like
when they were on the sand having their conversation and she busted into her classic Ashley laugh cry. Yeah. My heart warmed and I was like,
I was smiling.
I was like, oh man, I feel like I'm back in college or something again watching this, and I feel really good about it.
Yeah, and honestly, Jared's such a sweetie too, so I liked that part. Everything else was pretty dumb though.
Love them, but this again.
Look, she even said on her Instagram, she's like, she said something to the effect of like, we're going to be gone next Monday. So it's like, I think everyone's aware that was gratuitous.
Well, also, let's be clear. I'm sure that they did not expect when they were going to Paradise that they were going to make them a main story on the show. I'm sure that they thought that they were going to come do the typical mentor thing, not that they were going to then have them included in the intro during their little intros. With the whole cast, they made one for Ashley and Jared.
I know. Which is funny because they didn't even have a romance on the beach. I mean, they did, but it ended in flames.
Now,
the Bachelor's going to take credit for that?
What that is to me, that was one of the moments that set my rage on fire. Because I'm like, this is like Jesse Palmer crediting his relationship to the show when he met his wife like 10 years later off the show. Right. Just because you were on the show and you get into a relationship later does not mean
it was because of the show. They introduced you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's the thing with Ashley and Jared. They kept showing clips and I'm like, for viewers who never watched their season, I'm assuming everybody thinks that like it ultimately worked out, because even when Wells told his tale and brought up Claire, fully forgot about Claire, who's now engaged.
I know.
Congratulations to Claire. And then that Wells took Ashley on a date. I was like, oh, I forgot about all this stuff. But then
Gray was like, Wells was on the beach. I'm like, yes, he's a Bachelor contestant. He was a Bachelor contestant.
That's the thing, though. People who are like newer viewers, the way that then Wells wrapped it almost made it seem like they came, because they then showed the clip of them getting engaged on the beach, that they actually ended up getting engaged during their show.
Right, exactly.
Unbelievable.
I am surprised that, like, I'm sure he was gunning for it, but I am kind of surprised that Wells didn't become like the host. I think he would have made a pretty good host.
From what I recall, and I could be off on this, but I believe he wanted to be.
Oh, I'm sure.
And they shut it down. And I'm like,
no, but that's what I'm saying. I'm sure he was gunning for it, but I don't know why they didn't make. I think it would have been like pretty good.
The fact, like, he could have been just the host of Paradise. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
The season before, remember they had
even if they didn't
rotating hosts?
Right. No, I don't get it. Well, I just meant the host in general, like for The Bachelor, which I think would have been good. But also, that, to your point, they could have just made him the host of Paradise.
That one's got to hurt a little bit.
Totally.
That's got to hurt. If I was Wells, I'd be pissed. I'd be like, you're not considering me the host? You're giving it to JP? He's been lounging by the pool with that cigar for the past 3 weeks.
I want to know what happened to, what was the guy's name that used to do the tours? Remember the guy?
Oh, yeah.
What was his name?
I forget. Yeah, where is he?
I don't know.
I miss him. That's why Paradise feels weird. We're missing a central element.
I know.
Sad.
I don't think he was around last year either. Okay, anyway, on to the main stories, because we are still just talking about people that don't even freaking matter.
Okay, let's talk about Genevieve, Justin, and Aaron. How about?
Okay.
So, Genevieve, Aaron...
I can't believe people were taking Genevieve's side online. I read a couple comment sections. Were? Some people were. And then I was reading some people in the comments that were like, I really felt for Genevieve. I was like, you're taking her side?
I'm confused. I'm perplexed. Listen, I understand the stress of everything and that you have a connection then with Aaron. But like last week, what went down with Genevieve and Justin, and then we flipped the script. And here, my thing is this. Even if everything would have gone down the same, right? Where Genevieve went out with Aaron and she was like, that's my guy, I'm vibing more with him, and then came back and told Justin that.
Sure.
I would have been like, oh man, poor Justin, but you know what? Genevieve and Aaron, they're cruising. It was the conversation where then she was like not letting Justin speak and making him feel like the bad guy when he didn't do anything. This person's comment I agree with. They said, I feel so bad for him. She's creating these standards in her head and holding him to them without specifying what they are. And then when he asks her about them after the fact, she gets mad. Yeah. And I agree with that. 100%.
This person had like such long response. And another person in the comments was like, he's very immature at communicating and passive aggressive. Like, glad that she ended things with him, which I honestly did not really see that. Look, is he a perfect therapist communicator?
No.
Neither am I.
I'm sure I would make plenty of mistakes on the beach, which is why I try to have empathy for some of the decisions that are made on the beach.
Also, do I feel like they're a good pairing? Like, no, obviously it's not working. Like, they're very early on and she's not getting what she wants from him and neither is he, and it's a mess. So like, it's good that they're not together, but
no, for myself watching it was very much, again, after she had those conversations, like, again, the expectations set up for him were not reciprocated when it came to her.
Right.
And I'm like,
also the expectations were a little unclear. Like she's saying like, I need you to show me. And then like he's doing things like getting a birthday cake for her and making time for her. It's sort of like, okay, and then she says like, you only gave me one kiss this morning. It's like, okay, what exactly do you need here?
Right. And
do if they're not 10 kisses before 9 a.m.?
Well, and then when he asked that, then she got upset and he was like, well, I know that he's irritated asking it. Sure. But yeah, because it's a little bit like, hold on, yeah.
Like, oh wait, no, so one kiss isn't enough? Like
Well, she did what we predicted would happen, is that when she came, almost word for word, when she came back to the beach, she said, the reason that I let my heart go the way it did on the date with Aaron is because you haven't made me feel special. Right? Which this is my thing. That's where it got a little lost on me.
For sure.
If she would have come back and been like, listen, here's the truth of the matter.
Working.
I know there was
things with him.
Yeah, I know there was a drama before, and I apologized about that, and I know that this sucks, but like, I just be straight with you, like, I just have a better connection with him, and I'm so sorry.
Shanae did the same thing with Logan.
Well, Shanae and Genevieve have become
Regina and Gretchen.
Best friends.
Yeah.
And the shocking dynamic duo of the season. I'm also just dying laughing thinking about the fact that like with James and Aaron, they're besties. And now like Shanae and Genevieve are like, they're all tight and they worked out their shit.
Yeah.
But that was making me laugh so hard because when Genevieve was spilling how she felt, it was almost like working Shanae up. And then Shanae just went like shot out of a cannon to Logan and was like, I have something to say to you.
Which I felt like it was different though, because like Shanae and Logan's thing, again, one of the biggest issues that I have with the Genevieve thing is that she was being super hypocritical towards Justin. Yeah. You know, like even though he was like, I did not even kiss Victoria, did not like he wanted to be respectful to Genevieve, which I felt like action spoke louder than words, or like affection or whatever you will say. Like he was really like wanted to be respectful and like loyal to her in that way. So I felt like that was different. Like I don't really think that there was any real issue with like the Shanae and Logan thing, but there are a lot of those games going on of like, well, you know, where you're saying like, this guy is giving me everything that I want, but like what you really want is for the other guy to give you all those things, which I don't really think was exactly the case with Genevieve and Justin. I think she was confused between the two of them because I do think she really likes Aaron. I don't think Shanae likes James as much as she likes Logan. So a little different there.
And also, let's be real, Logan has been lounging on every couch, like stoned out of his mind.
Well, that was also...
And not having a conversation with Shanae versus Justin and Genevieve have been having active conversations. I agree. I think Genevieve and Justin, though I definitely disagree with how certain things were, how they went down, and I don't think that some of those were very nice. I think this is an example of two people who have very different styles of communication. Absolutely. And they're trying to fit two puzzle pieces together that are not supposed to be fit together.
Absolutely.
And Genevieve and Aaron are a perfect couple.
Well, and to your point with the like Logan lounging around, that was one thing I did keep saying out loud to the TV as we were watching the first episode of this week, is I was like, dude, these guys aren't doing anything. Like, come on.
Nothing.
Dude, you're going to complain about like not having one. Why don't you, Brittany doesn't, this lovely girl doesn't have anyone. Why don't you fucking set up a picnic on the beach? Like, how you have nothing to do.
How in God's name are there such an excess of men and then someone like Brittany just chilling?
And
take
also,
initiative.
Like, for sure. That's where I was just like, you guys don't have anything to do. Go braid a fucking flower crown for her. Go do anything.
Oh my God, how beautiful.
Come on.
Yeah, something.
Ask if she wants to help you build a fucking sandcastle.
Just something. So
my God.
I get the frustration.
I get that too.
And I think we talked about it a little bit, I think last week, that Justin is that very laid back type of energy, and Genevieve feels more loved.
She wants someone to be all over her
by someone like Aaron, and that's totally fine because that's what makes her feel loved. The issue was then making it seem, trying to kind of villainize the way that Justin was
Which he really wasn't doing anything
He wasn't doing anything
that
wrong.
we saw.
Justin was being honest with her. I think Justin was trying his best
he's
to
not
communicate.
a Brandon, okay? He's not going to be kissing up on your neck first thing in the morning and just being like, wow, the color of your eyes are like the ocean.
Right.
He's not that guy.
And that's a perfect fit for someone.
Sure.
Right? But that's just not Genevieve's style.
Right, exactly. My issue, though, too, with Genevieve, which we're going to get into it, which we could just cover all of it, although she is in a lot of things. But my issue, though, too, was that she also, though, wouldn't let Justin go. So then she's saying, like, well, Justin's just looking for a rose from Salley. He doesn't even want, of course he's immediately going to run. Like, you can't, like, let it go. And she also kissed at the end of that conversation.
Well, I think, which, by the way, that was a strange move on Justin's part to be like, not on my birthday.
Yeah, but it's also like, I know, and that was hilarious when Aaron was like, that's weird.
No, Aaron goes, said what?
That's weird.
It's a weird ass thing to say. It's a weird ass thing to say. And Aaron was doing everything to be calm, cool, and collected, which I'd like to talk about Aaron in a moment here because I have some positive things to say about Aaron.
Okay, yeah.
But that was all of a sudden when you saw the spark where I'm like, oh, is this going to be the fire that explodes? And it's like he's down with Genevieve coming to him and explaining everything. But all of a sudden when Justin said that, it was like, it's a weird ass thing to say. And it's just grinding. You know that he went to bed that night and he was just like, why would he say something like that? What is he trying to do? Is being manipulative?
We rewound it to look at his face. But also, like, I get that it is kind of weird, but also even her face when he said it was a flirty thing. And I feel like after she was like, to Aaron, she was like, he was 100% being manipulative. I saw her face when Aaron said, and she even said that in interviews after. She was like, I didn't want to kiss him, but like I did.
Yeah, of course.
But she did not say that to Aaron. She's like, yeah, I don't know. I felt like he was manipulating me. But then literally the interview, she's like, well, I did want to kiss him, but like, I didn't. And
God, it's such good television.
Yeah. And then she's like, well, okay, and then they kiss and then they're like,
Well, she then so let's cover this quick because she then feels really bad about it.
Right.
And she decides, this all happens, by the way, with James and Aaron in the wings watching the entire time. Aaron is on what he would consider to be his trauma chaise lounge, reliving the Tammy Thomas situation. And James is giving him the play-by-play, which James, this episode or last episode, not so much the wallflower anymore.
Not the shrinking violet.
No, not so much. They see it. Aaron walks away, doesn't explode.
Sure. Goes take a shower.
Growth.
True, that's true.
He goes and washes off his body, covers himself in that really nice smelling Axe, body wash instead of losing it.
Yeah.
And then when he sat with Genevieve, I do have to say to his credit,
well. He did.
He played it really well.
He did.
And, she feels bad, but he was just saying like, when you did that, like you hurt my feelings, like that bench for me, like holds a lot of pain, man. And, I thought we had mad chemistry and this really hurt for me though. Yeah. And I felt like I was surprised.
Yeah.
Now we see him exploding at some point,
me too.
But I just wanted to say, Aaron, growth.
Do you think it's going to come back around to Justin? I don't think it's totally over between her and Justin.
I don't think so either. Especially the way that then when she went and talked to Justin the next day, which his face behind them when they were hugging and he was eating is the best thing I've seen on television. Just eating angrily. But the way that they communicated after, with all that tension, it felt like it's like, this isn't two people that are just fully over each other. No. She was upset at him and he was, I don't know. Yeah, that's the whole thing with the whole Justin situation. I didn't feel like he was putting on her this pressure of like, choose me.
No.
It was just more like, this is what I thought we were doing.
Yeah.
And we were both exploring options. And so now I just feel like, you're making it like somehow my fault.
Well, and also she was the one that was putting a lot of pressure on him to tell her that she was the one.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
She was the one that was going out of her way to get that from him, to lock it in with him.
It's true.
So it's a little bit of whiplash there for sure. But But yeah.
And she even brings up Salley in their conversation.
I know.
When Justin and her are sitting together.
And then he said, and then which I knew, of course, when Salley got there, she was going to be like, wow, of course Justin goes and sits with her. Where it's like, dude, you dumped him.
But you're with Aaron now. I love how she told Aaron right away. She's like, if you go on a date with her, I will freak out. And you know what? Honestly, I'm like, at least we got communication.
Right. And he said,
she's putting her boundaries up very clearly this time and being like, if you were to go on a date with her, I will lose my mind. Right. And he's like, babe, I'd never.
Let's just keep, is there anything else from that first episode about Aaron, Justin, Genevieve?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Can we talk then about Salley?
Let's talk about Salley. Let's keep rolling with Salley.
Now, Salley gets there. Her suitcase did come before her. Obviously, doesn't seem like that was actually the one, but she literally did put her suitcases on. She confirms she checked in her bags and then didn't get on the flight. And she also confirms that she actually didn't get on the flight 2 more times. And she also eventually confirms that she did go talk to her ex before. Which I found all of that very interesting.
Yes. So
I really thought all of that was fabricated. Like all of it was fabricated.
All of it completely.
Yes.
What ended up to me being the most insidious nature of this show with that is that they created this story that had enough truth in it, but then had full twists.
I know. And that also was like, because Genevieve also kept referencing every part of Wells' story like it was the Bible. Like she was literally like, no. I half expected her to be like, you made a producer sit in your trunk that whole time.
It's like, she absolutely did not. Let's make something very clear.
Like Genevieve said at one point, she was like, yeah, you went and talked to your ex she went and talked to her ex for 4 hours. And like, that's what Wells said in his story. Like,
well, we also get quite a little tip from Salley that says, I work with my ex. So you better believe, number one, don't know the nature of their business. Maybe they have to work side by side. So not only do you have to have conversations perhaps about like how much time you're taking off or, you know, your business or whatever, but also then there's going to be a level of like, I don't want my ex to be shown in a certain light because this could complicate my literal work environment.
Not
because
to
I
mention,
work with
like,
him.
it's a pretty normal thing. Like, Sally's not in a relationship with anyone on the beach. I was going back and forth. Things are messy. I remember one of my exes I was going back and forth with. We had broken up months and months before the show. When I went on The Bachelor, I come back from the show, you know, we're hooking up again. And then it wasn't until I met Gray and we really started dating that I finally sat down. And Gray and I had already started dating where I had to sit down with him and be like, okay, we're like actually done. And that was a whole thing.
Yeah.
That's life is like, I don't think it's even crazy if she did have a 4-hour conversation with her ex. Like,
no.
You know, going over emotional stuff and her going on the show. It's like,
and listen,
I
do understand that there's a level of like, hey, she pulled the plug night 1 with Clayton. And so now she's coming and
1 foot in, 1 foot out.
That's what the vibe, you know, and again,
but who fucking cares?
Of course, who cares? But it's the typical Bachelor narrative of like, you better be here for the right reasons. And I know people had said that she's trying to clout chase. It's like, you think this person is trying to clout chase who leaves before the show even starts and doesn't say?
I really don't buy that.
No.
I don't buy that. And I do not think Genevieve would have gone that hard with Shanae had she not still been jealous of Justin. She did not like Salley because she heard the thing. She's insecure. She heard the thing about Justin giving Salley all the attention at Stagecoach.
Well, I also wonder too.
She didn't give a fuck about Salley before that.
Yeah, I also wonder too, you know, things we don't see behind the scenes.
Sure.
Like, you know, conversations, because clearly Salley was already a hot spot and it seems like she's not a fan. So you wonder if there's conversations or hangs. I remember at one point, you know, even Andrew brought up to Brittany, like, you know, when we've done hangs off of the show, we haven't talked. Like there, you know how it is, there are so many hangs with groups outside. So maybe there's already been like, we don't like each other.
Yeah.
And so there might be that attached to it too.
And also Genevieve is, like I said, paid attention to every word Wells said, and then it's like, this bitch is put a producer in the trunk. Can you believe that she did that?
I just, for Salley, when she came down and then immediately had the conversation with Shanae and Genevieve, and then they were getting each other they just riled each other up. Shanae and Genevieve,
so
just
much.
the fact that they hated each other, and now they just rile each other up nonstop makes me laugh so hard. But then when they have the second conversation with her, and she's like, no, I'm not doing this, and takes off, there's a moment where she's sitting with Justin, and she's not friends with Shanae and Genevieve.
Right.
Clearly. She makes a comment and says, they knew that the one thing I didn't want to talk about
I was just gonna bring that up.
my ex. Obviously, she's referring to producers.
Right.
She's not talking about Genevieve and Shanae.
Right.
She's saying the producers knew this was the one thing I didn't want to talk about. And let's be very clear, likely the reason that she was back and forth about going on the show and probably having conversations with her ex is that she knew it could be an issue. So she's like, that's the one thing I'm not okay with my storyline being about. And they probably said absolutely. And the second she walks down on that beach,
no, even before they decided, oh, let's have Wells tell the whole thing about her.
She walks down and finds out, oh, not only are you going back on your guys' likely word about not talking about my ex,
totally,
you've created
a whole narrative about me and my ex
that you gave a story time to all the contestants, because the suitcase didn't even get brought up. She said my suitcase got here, so she didn't even bring up, because obviously that was a fake suitcase.
Right.
Or else that would have been another thing on top of it too.
Yeah.
I mean,
no, I'm sure it was, because like you said that she told exactly. No, that's exactly what I was going to bring up. She told producers, I just really don't want it to be a thing about like what happened in Clayton's season or whatever. Like, for sure. Hey, Genevieve, why don't you go confront her?
Can you imagine having to work with your ex and being like, probably having hours, like, again, long of these conversations of like, hey, Salley, the only thing I'm concerned about is that, like, you know, we do work together. You're going on the show. If they make it this whole thing and make me out to be a bad guy in this situation, are mocking this, it's not going to look good for our company and not going to look good for the people who know us both, who I don't know what they do. And then she goes on and finds out. And they obviously doubled down because, they filmed all of the B-roll with Wells dressing up like a producer and a producer dressing up like Salley later. So they really went to town with that.
No, I know.
Dark.
Yeah, fucked up. And I just didn't like the mean girl energy. I did not it was just,
that was not okay.
I was just like, dude, stop. Like, stop. And also, it really is none of your fucking business. And why are you making it your whole thing of like, well, she's taking a spot. You have a rose this week. Like, why do you fucking care?
I just love what Salley said, where Salley came down and was like, this is exactly why I didn't want to be here, because you can't trust anybody on this beach. And I know plenty of things.
All of you have stuff you don't want getting brought up.
And also, let's be real. How many of us are on this sand to truly fall in love? Like, I mean, come on.
Like, that's your only goal here?
That's the only goal and only motivation. And she's like, I'm not going to say anything about all the other stories I know. I'm sticking to my business. And that's the thing, too. I still wouldn't think it was okay, but it would have felt really different if Salley was coming down for Aaron or for Logan. Sure. And it's like, oh, but Genevieve was done with Justin. And so, you know, here's another woman to come down on the beach and have her turn on the sand.
Yeah, no, she was like, I want her gone. And I do think it was because of the thing with Justin.
It seems likely so. But I was... And then James.
Dude, James coming in hot. I mean, he had his little moment.
James. Now, okay, one thing he said that I'm like, okay, sure. Fair game.
He's like, it's a TV. Yeah, right.
He said it's a TV show about dating, so you can't expect that your past dating life isn't going to get brought up. For sure. But then the energy was shifting where it's like he was trying to like be Shanae's like partner in crime.
He seemed like that, but then he also seemed very earnest, which like kind of threw me off. Like he was like heated about it, like genuinely.
You know what I think?
What?
I think James believes in the process.
I think he does too.
I think James is a purist and he believes in the process of the beach and is like, oh, I don't know.
He also seems like kind of guy, he's like, well, I've never had a bad experience on the show. Like, this shit's fun.
Seriously, like, what are you complaining about?
For sure. In the Michael tweet camp.
1,000%. Never had production just destroy your life. So it's a little bit like, I don't know what bringing up, your past, of course. Well, guess what, James? No one's brought up your past.
No one cares about your past.
Sorry. But yeah, I was really happy.
Man.
I was really happy that for Salley that she just left.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, good for her.
Honestly,
it would have been hell on earth.
I was, though, really hoping that, like, Justin
know.
and she would, like, have a thing. Because it seemed like they had chemistry. He was excited to see her.
We found out that they made out at Stagecoach. So, obviously, there's a little bit of something.
Yeah. So, I was just kind of like, I felt bummed for him. Like, I actually really do like Justin now.
She's a Justin stan now.
I really like him. And I just wanted to, like, I want to see him, like, get his shot with somebody. Like, I appreciated, like, that he put, I did feel like he was putting in the effort with Genevieve's, like, to try to, like he was saying, he was like, I just want to try to make something work. So I feel like if he found a girl that was right for him, I feel like it would be great. So I want to see that play out. Mm-hmm. I don't know if we will this season. But
I don't think so. I don't think so. But you know what? We love Justin.
Yeah,
and
I do.
Clearly, he's not going to have a problem meeting someone outside.
That's true.
The beach.
That's
Justin
true.
is a catch and a half.
That's true.
He's going to be good.
Yeah. Yeah, I like him. Okay.
He's going to be good.
All right. What do you have next on your little list? Should we first do a word from our sponsors?
Let's take a quick pause. A word from the sponsors up in here.
One of my faves, Kane.
Yes, Rods. Is there a room or maybe even just a little corner of a room in your house that is in desperate need of a little something? Well, look no further than Jenny Kane for all your interior needs.
My God.
Whether you have a room that needs an entire upgrade or a new statement furniture piece, or if you just need to add some touches of luxury to your favorite corner or tabletop, Jenny Kane has everything you need to create the home of your dreams in stock and ready to ship.
Okay, let's talk about the bigger projects first, because some rooms need a whole new big statement piece to give a new look. They have got a huge selections of incredible furniture pieces. Oh my God, from beds to dining chairs. They've got sofas and a lot more. Each piece of furniture is crafted by the team at Jenny Kane, and it's made with the highest quality materials and such an attention to design and detail. These are timeless, classic pieces that are like heirlooms. It's classic California meets modern minimalism, and it's dipped in luxury. That is Jenny Kane.
And if you just need to find those perfect finishing touches or need to get a head start on your holiday shopping or like a gift stockpile, Jenny Kane has so much to browse from. I'm personally obsessed with their collection of candles. They are so good, and they're also hand poured in Los Angeles. They're literally going to make your space smell like a dream. Seriously, there's something for everybody, and you're going to find it on Jenny Kane.
Get 20% off all furniture and home decor, complimentary styling services, free shipping on furniture, early product access, and much more with the JKH membership. Join at jennykane.com/membership or go to jennykane.com/home. You're going to create a space you never want to leave with Jenny Kane. That's JENNIKAYNE.com/home.
Okay, before maybe diving into Sierra and Michael briefly.
Oh, yeah.
Quick question. Shanae, Logan, James, what are your predictions? Do you think...
She's going to throw James by the wayside. She likes Logan more.
Okay. I'm getting that vibe too.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. And they just have... she has more of a thing for him. That's all.
Agreed.
Okay.
Okay, Sierra and Michael.
Yeah, You knew it.
You knew it.
I knew it.
You knew it.
And I told Gray before I even heard anything come out of Michael's mouth while we were watching it on Monday, and I was like, this is no shade to her at all. I do not mean this in a shady way, and I really want to say that. I do not think I think the idea of being a stepmom is a very conceptual thing for her. And I think that she did not really have a clear picture of like the realities of that. And I don't think it's her fault. I just don't think that she has enough life experience to really get like a grasp on what that all really means and what that kind of loss means for like a child and like a parent and like kind of, you know, like in her head, she's like, I'm going to be a bomb stepmom. I'm like, I don't think you're fully getting this.
Okay, so I fully disagree.
Oh, really?
Fully disagree. I think the only reason this didn't work is she's not the one for Michael. Like, Michael's not as into her as he appeared. That's what I think, because in my opinion, I was like, the more that I was watching it, and then also then finding out from her side too, that like her mom and her sister and their step parents, so she's been raised with this, and it's like, you know, I feel like knowing that she went in, Michael was who she wanted. Right. She planned beforehand the fucking star for Laura and Michael and the son to be like, this is always, I mean, I feel like she would be like prime, set up perfect for it. And I think she was genuinely there. And I think like,
she was 100% like,
but I'm saying I think she would crush it. I think the issue is that, like Michael was saying, he's like, I don't know, there's just always something.
Right.
And
she's just not the one.
Number one, I think, of course, that's grief.
Yeah.
But number two, I also think that it's just like, if he didn't feel that way with Katie.
Right.
And he was super into her. And clearly he was super into Sierra, but it's just not that, you know.
Yeah.
And I was devastated for her because she is just an incredible human being.
Yeah.
And the way then that when he, out of nowhere, at least from her perspective, said like, let's just be friends.
Yeah.
She literally just looked at him and was just like, if that's what you need, that's totally fine.
Totally. No, she handled it so,
And then how she removed herself too, where she was like, I'm only here for Michael. And honestly, I'm not ready to see him date anyone.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to take myself out of the equation.
Yeah. Yeah. No, for sure. No, she went in there for Michael 100%. I felt like though, I agree. And I think that I just felt like she already had it in her head of like, this is what my life would be like with Michael and his son. And I don't know. I disagree. I felt like she had this image in her head of what that would look like. And I felt even a little uncomfortable watching it when she was talking about like becoming like there was a point where they were cuddling and she was just oh my God, like, when I'm at like, when I am, you know, a stepmom, like whatever. And I was kind of like, ooh, and Gray and I were just talking it out. And I was like, I would feel like if Gray passed away and I was dating, even if I was really into a guy, if someone like a week into dating was like talking about being a stepdad to Ruth and Frank and like talking about like, when I'm their stepdad, whatever, I'd kind of be like,
I think for myself, if I was like, this could be the one, that would make me feel really comforted.
Well, it's a week in.
I know. But like I was saying, I think she, because of her intentionality, makes me think that I'm like, this is the type of individual who I think would be immediately an amazing step parent, because she's going in with so much intentionality, knowing everything. Is it the right person for Michael? I guess not. But like, I think she's going in knowing like, I'm going to make sure that he feels fully comfortable knowing that I'm there, that I'm not, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
But again, because it wasn't his person. And then that was another moment where I go, this is no shade to Michael. I like Michael. I obviously always have. But this is another perfect example of when the producers like you and want to give you a certain storyline. If that would have happened with another character on the beach, it would have been quite different when all of a sudden out of nowhere is just like, I don't even know if I'm ready to be with someone, and he's still staying on the beach. And then it is like, I just want to be friends. Like, that could have been made to, and I don't think it should be.
No, for
this
sure.
is just people being people, but
Yeah.
I think that it could have been with a different person on the beach, definitely a villainized moment.
Yeah.
That's for sure. But I will say on social media, they both,
I know, I saw their little back and forth.
They were both so lovely with each other, and she was, I mean, talk about an amazing human being. My goodness. She is going to have a beautiful life ahead of her.
Yeah.
And wish the best for Sierra. And then, you know, also hope that Michael meets his person on the beach.
Yeah, that was rough because it was, again, what you're saying with editing with someone that they like. we did not see, I believe it was James talking to the guys were talking. One of the guys said he feels like she's moving too fast.
Yes.
We never saw any conversation with Michael. We saw his conversation with, what was it, Andrew? Who was it? Who's he talking to?
He talked to Wells for a while.
He talked to one of the other guys too.
He talked to Andrew as well.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
And we saw a little bit of those conversations, but we didn't see any explicit, like the biggest one was his conversation with Wells. But when he was talking to Andrew, like when he was talking with the guys, we saw him sort of like, I'm not sure, but we didn't see any like actual, like him going into it. But then when I saw one of the guys being like, he feels like she's moving too fast, I was like, oh, interesting. We didn't see that conversation. And like, I don't think it was anything damning. But is the power of editing.
Well, and
for someone that they want to portray in a certain way.
I want to mention this with Brandon and Serene as well, who are my most favorite couple on the planet. So don't you dare take this as wrong context. In fact, if anything, I feel like it's trying to solidify my point of like people. Like there's so much behind the scenes going on, and it's just human interaction.
For sure,
when you know people for 48 hours and are being like needing to couple up and make these big decisions. But there was a moment when Brandon and Serene were out on their date where Brandon said, yeah, there was that second where I thought you were going to get pulled and go on that date. And I know I told you, like, go ahead and do it, but I was tripping out. And I'm like, we never saw that, which I'm sure it was a knowing them lovely conversation and handled beautifully. But they're just giving us the full no drama in their storyline. So that it's that,
but chilling.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And obviously there was a moment where there was like, oh my gosh, are you going to go on a date? What was that interaction like? So there's obviously, as an audience member, being like, okay, there's a lot of stuff that's removed and pushed on us just to get a certain perspective. And it's quite clear this season is what I'll say. This season, it feels the most clear than I feel like we've ever seen it before.
Or we're sharper than we've ever been.
That's true too, baby.
Or we're sharper than we've ever been before.
Sierra, just hope to see you again. And Brandon and Serene. Okay, we can briefly talk about this. I mean,
I do wonder though. Like with Brandon, I feel like the answer is no, but it was something that popped in my head when he'd had everyone come and sing the birthday cake, which was so cute because he noticed what she had said in the conversation and wanted to do a special gesture. And the way that he started crying when she came back for their date. It was just so sweet. They're always just nothing but But I do wonder, I'm like, damn. And I think the answer is yes. But I was like, what would he look like in a relationship like 15 years down the line? Like he's really setting himself up here with setting the bar very high, but it just seems like in his nature.
Think about his whole experience on Michelle's season.
But that's kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah, that is who he is. Like,
well, that was part of what actually made me like think that though, is I was like, oh, is this like how he is in like the first like 6 months of a relationship with someone where the feelings are really intense and really, really high, but he's really thoughtful with everyone else.
Feeling, because even when you see Brandon interacting with his friends,
no, that's what I'm saying. With everyone else, he's really like thoughtful.
He cares so much, and sure,
I know
everyone has flaws, so he's got to have them somewhere. But my God,
his flaw is that he's too kind.
His flaw is that he is too good for this world. He is too pure.
No, I think he's a really thoughtful, like person.
You meet those people, they're like shooting stars. There are truly shooting stars in this world. Yeah. And I have there's a specific friend that always comes to mind that I've known for years, that it's just like, I know you so well. And you are truly
just a pure angel,
pure human, who values nothing more than love and
being there for others,
other people, and just and I genuinely just think that's how Brandon is.
No, I agree. I do agree.
But on top of it too, God bless, he's also funny and has a great personality. You're like, what is going on? But when Serene walked out, and of course he's seen her in some cute little dresses, the fanfare of her walking out is,
I know, he cried.
He literally cried. Well, at first it was like, are you joking? And my favorite thing about Brandon is that he does not care he does not care at all about trying to be like, I'm gonna like try to play a game here.
I know.
There's no games. It's like, I genuinely...
he's not a cool guy at all.
No. He's like, I genuinely have my jaws on the floor seeing this beautiful, amazing woman walk up to me, and I am going to let you know exactly how I feel. And then after that long kiss, the tears pouring down his face, and then Rodney's crying off to the side. Did you see Rodney wipe a tear watching his best bud? He's just like, oh man, that's my guy.
It's too funny.
And so, I mean, when they then had their dinner, and she's telling her that he's falling in love with her, and she reciprocates.
I know.
Even before that, he tells her like how amazing he thinks she is. And then when she's telling him how amazing she thinks he is, his face looking at her, it was like there's nothing else on the planet. And he is like bewildered at her saying nice things about him.
I think his flaw is that he does one of his flaws is that he does fall in love too fast and too hard, because I feel like with the wrong girl, it could be like pretty big mess. Because I do feel like not in an inauthentic way, I do feel like he's the kind of guy
he falls in love quickly and deeply.
Yes, everyone, like, you know, any girl, not any girl, but you know, a girl who crosses his path who he's interested in, it's like she is suddenly his moon and his stars, which I think is very authentic to him. But I do see how people on The Bachelor were like, okay, this guy, you know, but I think he's proven himself now. But B, I do think it's the opportunity for him to get really like entangled in relationships that are not
lucky for him. Serene seems like an amazing human being.
Yeah, they seem like a really good pair.
They seem fantastic together. And then later, which, okay, this is the 12th birthday in the past 5 episodes.
A lot of summer babies. Granted, when there's 25 people and only 12 months.
The fact that it was, but day to day, like it was Genevieve's birthday. The next day it was Justin's birthday. The next day it was Serene's birthday. And then we find out, is it Jill and Jacob who have a birthday one day apart from each other? June 2nd and June 3rd, yes. Just like how Justin and...
So they actually also just had a birthday that same month. Both of them did. A lot of June babies here. A lot of Geminis.
Lots of Geminis.
Interesting. Okay. Well, that makes sense.
He then, when he surprised her and had the whole crew after, because she's had a hard time with birthdays in the past, he's listening, and everyone comes over. My favorite thing about that entire birthday celebration wasn't even that he planned that out and was listening to her. It's that he then stood up and gave public affirmations. That it wasn't just like, I'm telling you alone, like that I think you're the most amazing person. He, like, the fact that he stood in front of everybody and was like, Serene, you've changed my life. I am so grateful. I mean, unbelievable.
I know.
Couldn't
Love
ask
them.
for more. Okay.
Okay. Now on to messier folk.
Now on to messier. Let's talk the sauciest, messiest of all, Pizza Peter.
Oh my goodness. What a saucy one.
When you just said that there's nobody on the beach who you don't really dislike.
Yes.
And I agreed.
Oh, well,
I'm going to make an exception
right now. The great thing is that everyone dislikes him.
True.
And he's going to be going home soon.
It's a general.
So. He is really, I remember him being quite a dick on The Bachelor, on Bachelorette. But like first of all, him being a complete conceited a-hole on their date, just being like, in the water, like, well, that's the only thing you noticed about me, tell me more. I mean, the amount, Casey's commentary was brilliant paired with it.
Knowing that the second he walked in, because Casey was one of the ones who had commentary on him during Michelle's season, and when he walked in and Casey's just like, great. And then how he's telling everybody, now, granted, people can change, so I want to give him credit, but he's the worst human being on the planet.
And he'll probably be talking about pizza every chance he can get. Cuts to him talking about pizza for like 5 minutes
and
straight.
Genuinely,
it was making me hungry for pizza.
I know, I almost ordered some. But it was one of those moments too where even if that's the only time he ever talked about pizza and they just made it look that way, too much pizza. Too much
pizza.
On Michelle's season, he was...
Well, and then Genevieve said he won't stop. I think it was Genevieve. Like, he won't stop talking about pizza.
Yeah, everyone's like, he never stops. He never stops talking about pizza. On Michelle's season, we saw that he was being a dick and all that. But at first, remember, it was like, oh my God, he's kind of entertaining though, because he comes out and he's just like, buongiorno, and like just all of his like slice of life, all of the puns, just a character. But then towards the end of Michelle's season, it was like, okay. But then Men Tell All, it kind of seemed a little better. Well, Paradise has exposed.
Not to mention, dude, I'm so grateful that everyone has known Brittany now for so long. And so no one paid attention to a word he said. But could you believe when he came back and had the audacity to say that Brittany was a clout chaser?
Brittany?
And he said, ew, how gross was it when he said, I know if I took a girl out on a yacht back home that we'd be hooking up like right now. I feel sorry for do not go on a date with him, girls.
Do not. Throughout their time on the yacht, the amount of bragging, and when they're in the water and he's like, what's your most favorite thing about me? Or what did you notice? And then she's so gracious to be like, your eyes are amazing. And I noticed them as what else? What else? And then they're on the yacht and he's like, yeah, I do this every weekend. And, you know, my franchise and blah, 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 blah. It's just like, dude. And then when he goes in for the kiss and she was saying, read the room. Like, clearly, I'm not interested.
No.
And the moment she dodged that, you what? All I could think about is my heart for her having to finish off that date, however many more hours they had to be alone together. Awful. I would have been panicking.
Awful.
Panicking.
I love when she's like, just goes to show, it depends like who you're with, even if you're doing like some amazing.
I know, wise words.
Like, I would have rather been alone.
But when she then went back and when Peter made that, I'm never going to get over him saying that he thinks that she's there for clout. Because wild. Of course, why else would someone turn down your advances, my guy? Are you joking? The biggest energy of that. I mean, we all know that guy on dating apps, that guy in the bar. Ugh. It's just so much so gross. Much. But I love that he's sitting with Casey telling him, thinking that like, I'm going to let Casey know. And Casey's just doing the bait and the line and going, so really, you think you're going to stand by that? That's for sure what you think it is. Okay. And then our mailman King is going to go back and be like, just so you know. Wasn't wrong about my initial thoughts on Peter, because he's now saying this about Brittany, who is so lovely.
It's so funny.
Oh, I am hoping for a Peter Casey explosion.
I think there's going to be a takedown. Looked like it in the preview. Also looked like Brittany heard about what he said.
I cannot wait. Now, that was a moment where it looks like we see Shanae and Genevieve pairing up again and coming for Peter. Now that I am looking forward to.
I'll stand behind that.
I stand by.
I'll stand by that.
I will stand by this army 1,000%.
Let's see it, and he's gonna just go nuts. I can't wait.
He's screaming, "Baba Buongiorno, bitches!" and it looks like there's like fire in the background.
Yeah, it was like kind of scary. Yes, literally.
He's Hell's chef.
Oh my god, yeah, that was a little weird. It was like actually really scary. Him saying that.
It's really horrifying. It looks like a terrifying episode.
But then, like, okay, what happened with Brittany and Andrew, and why, as they've just both been schlepping around the beach, has this not happened sooner?
Well, okay, that was an interesting one. I loved when she right away came down. Andrew was one of the first ones to come up to her and be like, so how did it go? You know, he's really hoping that, you know, maybe there's still an opening.
Yeah.
When they were sitting together, the vibe that I got was like, first of all, again, it's been 4 days and people are pairing up. And so the vibe that I got from them is like, they just have been hanging around. It hasn't
really been 4 days.
Or however long it's been, what?
I guess it only has been probably like
a week.
Yeah, maybe a week.
But, you know, he was with Teddy for a while, and then she was like kind of with Casey, and she was kind of
probably
meeting
like
different people.
Days.
So it seems to me like it's like, oh, they probably just spent a lot of time in group and they're flirty and there's an energy there. And at first it wasn't like the initial pairing off. But then like he said too, he's like, I didn't think you liked me. Like maybe at Bachelor hangs or whatever.
You'd think, again, though, these guys laying around the beach, you'd think you'd try to shoot your shot.
Shoot your shot with Brittany, my God.
This beautiful woman doesn't have anyone pursuing her. What are you guys doing? Again, like I said,
what are you doing? Pursue her. Make that flower crown. Oh my God.
Just even like be like, oh, I don't know, grab her some food from the buffet and bring it over and be like, let's chat, you know?
To Logan's credit, like, for instance, like, you know, he finally ended up doing his little, like, you know, bottle underneath the...
Right.
Which I was, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
But, but...
He's like, you don't have to come on strong. Just be like, hey, you want to go hang out at the pool with me?
That's the thing.
Come on, guys.
There's something called balance. You know what I mean? Yes. And it feels like there's not a recognition of like, oh, I don't want to come on too strong. Okay. It's fine. But you can also like pursue.
Hey, you want to go for a little walk with me?
Yeah. Hey, you want to go grab a drink with Wells, have a chat? Okay. That's all. It's not much. It doesn't take much. And that's also, I personally don't find that coming on
tic-tac-toe in the sand.
I don't find that coming on too strong when you're on a dating show.
No.
This isn't just a vacation where there's unnecessary drama. Right? It's a dating show. So I hope that something works out with Andrew and Brittany. I mean, well, okay, here's the thing though. So right away, she was like, Andrew is like this safe place. And she right away started to kiss him, which that so resonates. He just seems like he is just this warm presence that it's like, oh my God, after that trauma that I just dealt with, I am like running into the arms.
Like, literally anyone here is a safer place.
You were a safe place. And so they start kissing and all I could think about was, Peter is going to use that as fodder and be like,
the minute we got back from
she told me that she does things slowly. And so obviously she's a liar and da-da-da. It's like, no, she was dodging your horrific advances.
Gross.
Ugh.
Let's talk about Jill and Jacob.
Let's talk about Jill and Jacob.
Because I'm sad it seems like that's going to also come burn in flames. It seems like Jacob is on to the next. But I had high hopes for them.
Like Jacob will be... My prediction is that Jacob will be the first head to turn...
Clearly.
At the rip-off Casa Amor. Jacob will be the first to immediately be with someone else.
Yes.
And my heart aches already for Jill because, I mean, like the whole beach was saying, you know, I'm not a huge Jacob fan. We know this.
Sure.
But they are funny together.
Oh my God, totally.
They're a blast together.
Oh, yeah.
Them getting the date card and him throwing her in the air and them just taking off immediately. The energy is so similar.
But it's giving Jenna and Jordan energy, which they were fun on the beach, but clearly that blew up in flames.
True. Very true. Yes.
Protect Jill.
Protect Jill.
Protect Jill at all costs. But their little date went so well. They were feeling it.
They were howling. They stripped down fully. They were in their sexy little tubs.
Yeah.
Like they were going for it, and they seemed like they were really enjoying each other.
Yeah, totally.
And then when they came back, their energy was so like high. It was so that energy of that couple that you know that you're like, oh, they're for sure solid.
Right.
Like they're so comfortable with each other and they're coasting.
Jacob's just a ding dong, and yeah. And then thinking with this PP with whoever walks through the door, out of sight, out of mind with Jill, I guess.
Unless, again, maybe it was a tease. You never know. What if he, like, kind of talks to a girl for a moment and that's maybe it?
Let's be real, though. With both Jill and Genevieve, the producers are going to do everything in their power to fuck up their relationships to watch them spiral. Because both girls just take the bait and are just ready to break down at a moment's notice.
Well, they clearly were. This was a production move to try to torture Jill.
Yes,
it's because as soon as she's locked in, the one person that comes down is the person who she believes was trying to break up her and Romeo the second that she came down, and so of course it's the same person with now her new love interest.
Although I was confused because it almost seemed like I don't even know what to think about Kyra, because it almost seemed like Kyra, I felt like she was being earnest in what she was saying to Jacob. But then she turned around and left with Romeo. I I just don't even know what to think anymore.
I am a little confused because it felt earnest. But then I'm saying, like, they wouldn't have let her down the beach if they didn't want to torture.
Maybe she's an actress, baby. Maybe she's an actress.
A doctor.
Well,
I do have to say, to Kyra's credit, which I love, I love someone who can just, like, laugh at themselves and be like, oh, yeah,
I like Kyra, yeah.
Love Kyra, because Kyra was posting, at least yesterday, on social media, like videos of people tagging her where they're like giving her shit about like, are you fucking kidding me? You're back. And she's reposting them. And then she did a post and she said something like, all of the Harvard alum coming out and coming on the show and always causing the least drama. Mm-hmm. And it was a photo of her, Romeo, and Bennett. All of them are Harvard alum. What I now all of a sudden thought is, I was like, thank you, Dr. Kyra, because what I never knew I needed was a Harvard reality TV show.
She and Romeo are from Harvard?
Harvard and Bennett.
Oh my God.
I'm like, now that I'd watch Harvard reality show.
Harvard grads.
Oh my God. I'm like, if this is what we get on the sand, imagine the behind the scenes with all the grads. Everyone's like so smart and also just like hot.
It's like weird that we've never had like, why have there not been like more college reality shows?
I don't know. Maybe it gets complicated with like legality and everything.
How so?
I don't know. It's my only thought.
Why don't we have more of them, right? Like in the dorms and like, I mean, there's so much drama.
It's so much drama. It was the most dramatic time of my life by a mile. And I don't even think I think it was pretty low key.
Right.
I want it. I need it.
I want it now.
Even
also
just
in the Ivy League, and there's like money, and there's
Yales,
whatever.
The Harvards. Come on. It's like a real life Gossip Girl waiting to happen, baby.
Oh, that sounds great.
But Kyra goes to Jacob.
He's like, he started it down pretty gracefully, I actually thought.
Well, the whole thing when they were like, oh my God, it's been too long. At first, everyone was cool. And then they were like, it's been so long. It's been so long. Let me know your thoughts on this. I don't feel like he was entertaining it.
No.
My guess is that producers made them sit there for like an hour to torture Jill.
Probably. Yeah, that's probably true.
That was my thought.
Like, wait, you guys should hash this out some more.
Which is why I felt like they didn't show us much of their dialogue. Where it was like they just made them sit there for like an hour.
Good point.
Just to torture.
I also just think he was just being considerate, like listening to her.
Just like, so she like explained the whole thing, and then he's like, so what you're saying is you're still interested in me? She pours the whole thing out. I can't stop thinking about you. It's real. You feel like home. And he's like, so what you're saying is you're interested in me still.
That is so funny. Oh my gosh, she really is a dingbat.
And then Jill takes off and Brittany's like, hey, Jacob, it's been long enough. And then he's like, oh, gotta go. It's a no for you. I'm gonna go see Jill. And then they made up quite quickly. They had a very similar makeup to the Aaron Genevieve situation. That was a very similar Jill and Jacob. Very quick.
Back on.
Both communicated and they're back to business. So
well, that's episode 4.
I think we got most everyone's drama. I'm very proud of us right now. So stay tuned for 100 more episodes.
This was what, week 3? Like the week,
the third week.
Yeah.
But first week only had one episode. Right. Apparently 1 week coming
November
up here.
November 7th.
There's only the one episode. Yeah. It's a lot of
thanks, guys.
It's a lot of TV.
Appreciate
I'll be real with you. I feel like my eyes are burning. And also when you're trying to take notes, it ends up being about 6 hours of TV. 7, 8 perhaps. But
pray for me, you guys. Keep me in your prayers. Like, please pray for me. Like, I actually really need it. I'm gonna be calling my mom after this, being like, will you pray for me, please?
Well, broads, tune in for the bros tomorrow, and special Craig episode on Tuesday.
Yay!
Yay!
Chat soon.